So these are some of my experiences with Bigfoot and Sasquatch up in Washington State. I lived up there for 8 months, camped out for most of that as long as weather permitting, and then I stayed in a little yurt afterwards. One night I was coming back from dropping my friend off at the airport in Portland, and it was an overcast night, very windy, somewhat light out, but still no moon, anything like that. And the wind was absolutely roaring up there. And this picture right here is an indication of that. But I was out in the field, I was the only one out there, and I decided that I wanted to go spend some time with the land. It's incredibly powerful with the vortex. And just out past the medicine wheel, I started to go into like a walking meditation. And the walking meditation had a lot of light language, spoken word, and singing prayer. And it was almost like a haka. It was an awesome trance. And I had gone through so many different dialects, and there was this beautiful energy that was flowing through me. And by the time I got done with it, I was at the number one arrow position. And I came out of that trance, and I realized I could feel an immediate rush of this energy. And I realized I was surrounded by these Sasquatch or these Bigfoot. I could not see them physically, but I sure could feel them. And then at that point, the Lockies started wood knocking on the trees behind me. And then off to my right a little bit, I could see a small tree start to shake, and then bushes behind me. And I was like, whoa. And the amount of energy that was going through me. And one thing that's really important to understand is these Bigfoot or these Sasquatch beings are highly telepathic, and that's how they communicate. So it's a rush of images and pictures and emotions in rapid succession. But by the time I got to the number two position, there was so much energy going through my body that it was like pins and needles on the bottoms of my feet to where it almost hurt. And the emotion was just, it was almost overwhelming, but not overwhelming. So I continued and I walked forward to the number three position, and then I sensed the other two Bigfoot out there. And Elder is the one that Barry Littleton had some interactions with, and he is all business. And I could feel this very powerful, very stern, very powerful energy, and his presence is actually giving me goosebumps talking about it right now. And then the other one that was off to the left there, I never did get the name of that one, but I was telling them through telepathy and through these images, I'm like, if you I don't you need to help me with my fear on this. I am not ready to see you guys. And the energy again is so powerful. And I basically showed them an image of, if I'm a little guy, the small ones are 800 pounds, and if you guys all jump out at running me, you're going to scare me so badly, I don't know if I can handle it. And so I showed them this image, and then what was right as soon as I showed them that image, I started walking the other way. I heard and felt these three really heavy footsteps, bam, 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 right next to me, scared the crap out of me. And I jumped and I looked back that way, and then they projected these smiles and giggles and stuff. And they were messing with me. And it was just like, at that point, it actually very much lightened the whole thing. And I was like, okay, because I could really sense and feel their sense of humor. And so as I continued a little bit farther to where number five is, I started to see my shadow. And I'm like, how am I seeing my shadow? And I would turn around and look in the opposite direction, and I would see my shadow again, and it was in this golden soft light. And I'm like, how is this even happening? And I was completely baffled, and I started to feel this really even stronger energy, and these huge waves of emotion. The tears were flowing through, but no sadness, all gratitude. And I looked up and I realized this light was coming through the Stargate that resides over that land there. And what the Stargate looked, this is what I saw. It looked like an edge of a huge halo type thing, where the energy was teal, fluorescent neon teal and other brilliant colors, and there was this huge fluctuation in gold and silver light, and also there were these light language symbols all over that were changing. It was just wow. But that continued to, I could see that shadow no matter which way I looked, until I was at about where the number 6 is, and I could feel the young ones, and of course they can teleport their physical bodies anywhere they want to be. So yeah, and that was pretty amazing. But by the time I got to number 6, I was so physically exhausted from the energy that had gone through me that I just wanted to go to bed. So that's what I did. I went to my tent, which is where number 7 is, and I laid down. And just as I'm laying down, I could hear Delaki. He was over there by the creek, and he was doing vocalizations. It was like a Kian, Kian, Kian. It was like an inhale, but really, really deep too. I can't duplicate it, but and it was, you know, they're very kind beings. And I said, can I have some validation? I need something tangible. So the next morning I went over there, and on the map you can see the picture where I found this footprint. This is a footprint from one of the young ones, and I enhanced it here, and you can clearly see the toes and the heel, and it's thin and long. And this is a picture right here of it next to my size 11 boot, so you can tell that it's pretty big. It's, you know, it's at least three inches more. And I said, you know, can you show me yourselves without scaring me? And ask and you shall receive. So I had several other sightings, but this one right here was during the day, and I saw him through my tent, and I ran outside to get a picture, and he was gone. And this is the picture I took immediately following that. This is to illustrate how big he is, and now that's a fairly decent distance away. And I mean, he's massive, and he's not even the biggest ones that are around there. This is a video I picked up off of YouTube, but this is very similar to his color, and I saw him about the same amount of time in that sighting as this video. Whoever took this one, really good shot on this. This is it slowed down a bit so you can see, but I could clearly see the light on the back of his hair and everything like that. And he looks very, very similar to this picture. Again, not mine, but this is what that particular male, Delaki, or as I've come to know through telepathy with him, his ancient pronunciation of his name is Dolakai. And of course I speak light language with him, and they are fluent in these other languages, these ancient languages, and it's an incredible exchange of emotion. And again, these particular Sasquatch are very kind. So another night, it was dusk, and I had this feeling I was being watched, and I looked over and saw something, you know, a dark figure. Again, not my picture, but I saw just a little bit darker in the evening, but this is basically what I saw. And that was Ida, and I turned back and she was gone. And then the young one, I had a lot of interaction with him, and that's a high, and that's very similar to what he looks like. I didn't take that picture either, but I wanted them for illustrations. But I hope you guys enjoyed me sharing these experiences with you. I have many more to come, but thanks again.